Robert Chen stands in his penthouse office, watching Manhattan's skyline glitter like the engagement ring his daughter Isabella now wears. A self-made tech billionaire worth $8.5 billion, he's built an empire from nothing. But today, that empire feels hollow. Mr. Chen, his assistant Sarah enters. "I found what you asked for." She hands him a file on James Harrison III, his future son-in-law. Robert scans the documents: hidden debt, failed business ventures, mysterious money transfers. Behind James's old money facade lies desperation. 3 generations of Harrison wealth, squandered. "Isabella loves him," Robert murmurs, touching a photo of his daughter. "Since losing her mother to cancer 10 years ago, she's all he has." In his private study, Robert reviews security footage from James's last visit. The camera catches James's sneer at the cleaning staff, his whispered phone call about accessing the Chen fortune, the way his charm switches on around Isabella. "Daddy, isn't the Hamptons estate perfect for the wedding?" Isabella bursts in, radiant with bridal excitement. James says his family's been married there for generations. Robert forces a smile. "About the wedding. I'd like to bring my brother." "Uncle Wei? I thought he was in China." "Different brother. From Before the Money." Robert watches her carefully. "He works as a mechanic." Isabella hugs him. "Of course he should come. Family is family." After she leaves, Robert calls his most trusted employee. "Remember how you helped me go undercover to test corporate spies? I need that expertise again." In his closet, past the designer suits, Robert pulls out an old photo, himself 20 years ago, working as a janitor while building his first company. Time to become that man again. His phone buzzes, a text from James: "About the prenup, let's discuss adjustments." Robert starts his transformation. The billionaire's charismatic smile fades, replaced by a humble worker's weathered expression. His perfect posture slouches slightly. Designer glasses switch to drugstore frames. "Test the man," he mutters in Mandarin, his mother's favorite saying, before trusting him with treasure. The wedding is in 3 days. His daughter's happiness hangs in the balance. But sometimes, Robert knows, love needs protection from itself. He texts the family group chat: "Everyone except Isabella, Operation Poor Uncle begins." Not a word to the bride. The sun sets over Manhattan, casting long shadows. In 12 hours, Robert Chen, tech billionaire, will vanish. In his place, a poor relative will arrive at the Hamptons' grandest estate, ready to expose the truth about the man who would marry into his family. His final text is to Sarah: "Leak to the press that I'm away on business. And get me that rusted pickup truck we discussed." A battered pickup truck rumbles up the Hamptons estate's pristine driveway, drawing horrified stares from the wedding planners. Robert Chen, now unrecognizable in worn jeans and a faded work shirt, parks between 2 Rolls-Royces. "Sir, service entrance is around back," a valet sneers. Robert shoulders his weathered duffel bag. "I'm family. Isabella Chen's uncle." The valet's face shifts from disdain to poorly hidden disgust. "The mechanic relative?" Inside, James's mother Margaret Harrison nearly drops her champagne glass. "You invited that?" Isabella rushes to hug her uncle, genuine warmth in her embrace. "Uncle Wei. Thank you for coming." James appears, his practiced charm faltering. "Darling, perhaps your uncle would be more comfortable at the staff quarters?" "Nonsense." Isabella loops her arm through Robert's. He's sitting at the family table. Throughout the rehearsal dinner, Robert observes. James's family whispers behind hands, making snide comments about new money and common relatives. The catering staff exchange knowing looks. They've seen James's true behavior before. "Tell us, Mr. Chen," Margaret drawls, "what exactly do you do?" "Fix cars," Robert replies in slightly accented English. Not all of us lucky enough to inherit wealth. James chokes on his wine. Indeed. Some people just aren't meant for success. Isabella frowns at her fiancé's tone but says nothing. Robert notices her discomfort. Later, in the estate's garden, Robert overhears James on the phone. Once we're married, I'll have voting control. The old man won't know what hit him. Yes, we'll sell the company piece by piece. Robert's hand tightens on his phone, recording everything. His security team, disguised as gardeners, nods subtly. The Harrison family butler approaches Robert with disdain. Sir, the family wing is for proper guests. Your room is above the garage. Perfect, Robert smiles. I feel more comfortable there anyway. In his humble room, Robert reviews his findings. James's mask is cracking faster than expected. But Isabella's growing unease suggests she's not as blind to James's nature as he feared. A text from his team, Harrison family bankruptcy proceedings found. They're completely broke. Robert prepares for bed in his simple surroundings, remembering nights spent in similar rooms while building his empire. Tomorrow, the real test begins. His phone buzzes. Isabella, I'm sorry about how they're treating you. Don't worry, niece, he replies. Sometimes people show their true selves when they think someone is beneath them. He sees her bedroom light on in the main house, knowing she's pondering his words. The deception hurts, but watching his daughter potentially marry a fraud would hurt more. In the distance, fireworks explode over the rehearsal dinner's finale. Robert Chen, billionaire in disguise, watches from his garage room, knowing tomorrow will change everything. Dawn breaks over the Hamptons estate. Robert adjusts his ill-fitting rented tuxedo, a stark contrast to the designer suits in his closet at home. His security team, disguised as service staff, reports disturbing findings from overnight surveillance. Isabella paces her bridal suite, clutching a stack of papers. Mom's old diary. James's family financial records. How did they hide this? A knock at her door, James's sister Charlotte, drunk and bitter. You know he's only marrying you for the money, right? Our family's broke. Father gambled everything away. Isabella's hands shake as she texts her uncle, something's wrong. Can we talk? In the garden, Robert finds his daughter fighting tears. The Harrisons, they're not who they seem. Neither are most people who focus too much on seeming, he replies gently. The wedding preparations continue. James gladhands potential investors, making promises about future business opportunities. His father corners Robert by the service entrance. Listen, mechanic. After the wedding, stay away. Your kind embarrasses the family name. Robert smiles. Interesting. Which family name, the real one, or the one you bought with borrowed money? The old man pales. The ceremony approaches. Guests fill the garden. Robert, seated in the back with the household staff, watches James straighten his tie in a window's reflection, rehearsing his devoted smile. Isabella appears in her wedding gown, but her eyes are steel, not joy. She's found something that changes everything. At the altar, the priest begins. James's practiced smile slips when Isabella squeezes his hand too tight. Before we begin, Isabella's voice rings out, I have something to share. She pulls out her phone, plays a recording, James discussing plans to sell off Chen Enterprises piece by piece. The guests murmur. James's family shifts uncomfortably. Also, Isabella continues, I found these. She holds up bank statements. The Harrisons are bankrupt. This wedding was their last chance to avoid prison for fraud. Chaos erupts. James lunges for the documents. Security, Robert's team, moves in. One more thing, Isabella turns to the back row. Uncle Wei, or should I say, Daddy? Robert stands, his humble posture transforming. The guests gasp as they recognize the billionaire they've seen in magazines. James backs away, realizing his perfect plan has crumbled in minutes. Isabella meets her father's eyes, a mix of hurt and understanding. Next time you want to test my fiancé, just ask. The wedding dissolves into pandemonium as police arrive, Robert's final surprise for the fraudulent Harrisons. The reception hall buzzes with nervous energy as James takes the microphone, champagne glass trembling in his hand. His perfect facade begins to crack under pressure. Thank you all for coming to celebrate our merger. His mask slips. Marriage. Isabella sits at the bride's table, a manila envelope hidden in her lap. Robert, still in his working-class disguise, watches from his corner table with the household staff. As future CEO of Chen Enterprises, James continues, drawing confused murmurs from guests who know Robert hasn't announced any succession plans. I want to outline our new direction. Isabella stands abruptly, clutching the envelope. Let me help with that outline, darling. She pulls out documents, her hand steady. Exhibit A, James's secret meetings with corporate raiders. Exhibit B, plans to strip my father's company for parts. And my personal favorite, Exhibit C, proof the Harrisons have been bankrupt for years. James lunges for the papers. You don't understand business, sweetheart. Actually, Isabella's voice cuts like steel, I understand perfectly. The Harrison fortune? Gone. Your family estate? Mortgaged 17 times. Your plan? Marry the rich girl, steal her father's company, and disappear with the profits. The room erupts. Margaret Harrison faints dramatically. James's father turns purple with rage. You gold-digging little, James raises his hand. Robert moves to intervene, but Isabella handles it herself. She catches James's wrist mid-swing. 10 years of martial arts, honey. Dad insisted. Speaking of Dad. She turns to Robert in his shabby suit. Want to explain why you're pretending to be Uncle Wei? The guests collectively gasp as Robert Chen, Billionaire CEO, stands up from the staff table. James backs away, realizing he's been played. This was a setup? No, Isabella corrects him. This was a test. And you failed spectacularly. Police sirens wail in the distance. Robert's phone buzzes with updates, SEC agents are moving in, fraud charges ready. The perfect society wedding dissolves into chaos, leaving father and daughter standing in the wreckage of carefully constructed lies, both James's and their own. James corners Robert in the mansion's empty library, desperation replacing his polished charm. Name your price. Everyone has one. To let you destroy my daughter's life? Robert maintains his mechanic's disguise. No money worth that. $1 million. Cash. Walk away, forget what you saw. James pulls out his phone, showing a transfer screen. You mean your family's last borrowed million? Robert adjusts his worn glasses. The one you're hiding from creditors? Isabella watches silently from the doorway, unseen by either man. Her wedding dress catches moonlight, tears threatening to fall. 2 million then, James continues. Everyone knows Chen will pay anything to protect his precious daughter. And what would you do with that money? Robert asks quietly. Cover your gambling debts? Pay off the loan sharks? James's face twists. You've been investigating me? No need. Staff talk. Drivers see things. Maids hear everything. Robert taps his temple. Rich people forget we exist. A family emergency interrupts. James's father collapses from stress. The paramedics arrive. Choose, Isabella steps forward. Stay with your father or chase the money? James hesitates for only a second before following the paramedics, shouting about his inheritance rights. You knew? Robert asks his daughter. Since yesterday. Isabella touches her father's rough work clothes. The real test wasn't just for James, was it? No, Robert admits. I needed to know if wealth had changed you too. And? You saw through appearances. Defended family. Chose truth over status. He hugs her. You passed every test I never meant to give. Outside, reporters gather. The Harrison scandal breaks across social media. James makes desperate calls to his lawyers. Isabella removes her engagement ring. Next time you want to test someone, Dad, maybe just run a background check? Where's the fun in that? Robert grins, finally dropping his accent. The test is over, but its lessons will reshape both their lives and their understanding of true worth. Robert Chin stands, removing his shabby disguise, before the stunned wedding guests. His transformation from humble mechanic to commanding billionaire silences the room. Ladies and gentlemen, he addresses the crowd, I apologize for the deception. But sometimes the truth requires a test. Media cameras flash through windows as security escorts the Harrison family out. James struggles against the officers, his polished veneer completely shattered. You ruined everything, he shouts at Isabella. We could have been perfect. Perfect frauds, you mean? She holds up her phone, playing recordings of his scheming conversations. The elite guests whisper furiously, Chen played us all. The Harrisons were bankrupt? Greatest society scandal in years. Margaret Harrison makes one last attempt at damage control, we are victims here. That man infiltrated our family event. Robert raises an eyebrow. In my mansion, at my daughter's wedding, paid for with my money? Securities and Exchange Commission agents arrive, armed with warrants. The evidence is damning. Years of financial fraud. Multiple identity thefts. Ponzi schemes targeting wealthy families. Isabella addresses the guests, the wedding's off, but please enjoy the dinner. Consider it a celebration of truth instead of marriage. Robert's security team, now in official uniforms, reveals the extent of their surveillance. Every slight, every scheme, every whispered plan captured and documented. Was any of it real? Isabella asks James as he's led away. His response chills the room, the money would have been. Robert puts an arm around his daughter. They watch their elaborate deception unravel the greatest society scandal of the year. The truth has emerged, but its price will echo through Manhattan's elite circles for years to come. 1 month after the wedding that wasn't. Isabella stands in her father's office, watching workers remove the Harrison family portraits from the mansion walls. The media storm has settled into occasional ripples. Harrison family faces federal charges, society's greatest scandal, billionaire's test exposes fraud ring. No regrets? Robert asks, now back in his familiar CEO attire. About exposing fraud? No. About the method? She smiles. Let's just do background checks next time. The aftermath brought unexpected changes. Harrison family faces 20 years for fraud. James pleads guilty for lighter sentence. 3 other wealthy families come forward as victims. Chen Enterprises stock rises on strong leadership. Father-daughter relationship stronger than ever. Isabella implements changes at the company. New transparency policies. Anti-fraud task force. Scholarship program for employees' children. Regular undercover boss programs. The media dubs it the Chen method of corporate leadership. An unexpected romance blooms. Isabella starts dating Michael, the security team leader who helped expose the fraud. Robert approves, especially after Michael insists on a thorough background check of himself. The mansion transforms. Wedding gifts donated to charity. Harrison's old money artifacts returned to creditors. New wing opened for Employee Education Center. Family photos replace society portraits. 6 months later, at the company holiday party. Ready for another test? Robert teases his daughter. No more tests, Isabella laughs. But maybe some truth. They raise glasses with their employees, no disguises needed. The security team, now promoted to corporate fraud prevention, joins them. Robert's final gesture, establishing the Truth Fund, helping expose financial fraud in wealthy circles. The first tip comes from a house cleaner who, like Robert once did, noticed something wrong while being treated as invisible. The lesson becomes family motto: truth needs no disguise. Isabella's new engagement ring, from Michael, comes with full financial disclosure and a promise of honesty. Robert attends their small wedding as himself, no disguises needed. The Chen legacy transforms from just wealth to something more valuable: integrity. Final headlines: Chen method revolutionizes corporate culture, from wedding scandal to corporate reform, how a father's test changed Wall Street. The mansion's new entrance plaque reads, "Wealth is tested by truth, not time." Robert and Isabella work side by side, their bond stronger for having been tested. Sometimes, the greatest fortunes are built not on money, but on trust.